Bethel Christian Church. Mr. Brenda Ross, Becky Ross, Mr. Bruce Walker, Elder Walker, we receive him. And as well. To Candace Morris, to Mr. Freeman, to Mr. A.C. Carter, good to see you as well. To all the officers, to our visitors, we welcome you to the House of Bread. I want to acknowledge TJ's mother, father. Okay, you stand.
Amen.
Amen. Grandparents.
Amen.
Grandparents.
Amen. Glory to God.
God bless
Thank you.
Y'all travel all the way from Florida?
Albany.
Albany. Georgia, okay, all right, not as far. God bless you. God bless you. Hope you enjoyed yourself while being here. And to all of us, we welcome you to the House of Bread. In the membership, we honor you as well. To the choir, we honor you as well. Thank you for your service this morning. God bless you. God's blessing be upon you. Thank you, Evangelist Morris. God bless you as well. Amen. 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 I want to go out with prayer. I want to thank those Urshas who ushered home Sister Gladys Hill, and those who work in the kitchen. I want to thank you as well for your work and whatever you did behind the scenes.
Amen.
I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I'm sure the family appreciates it as well. God bless you. I won't hold you long. Do what I got to do and get out of the way. I want to call your attention to the scripture that Mr. Brenda. Y'all like it? I like to say my name is Amen. Mr. Brenda Ross read Job chapter 1, verse 13 through 19. Again, Job chapter 1, verse 13 through 19. You have to say word. As you stand rest of God's word, you can. I'm going to read the New King James Version. The 13th verse of the first chapter of Job reads as such. Now there was a day when the sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their older brother's house. And a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were feeding beside them, when the Sabians raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. I have alone escaped to tell you. While he was still talking, another came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels, and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. I alone escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, what your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house and fell upon the young people and they are dead. I alone have escaped to tell you. Most gracious and all-wise Father, here I am again. I need you to be with me, speak to me, speak through me. Give me fresh word, give me clear word, give me life-changing word. Speak a word, God. Speak for thy servant with hearing. Oh, God, I pray you over the ears of the hearers, the hearts of the receivers, that your word will fall on good and fertile ground and produce fruit in days to come. I pray, God, you keep me humble, obedient, submissive, and sensitive to your spirit. Keep me ever at the foot of the cross where you can get the glory and the honor and the life of me, your servant. Speak, God. Speak to me, speak through me as I speak to this your people, God. Let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, my words, my thoughts, be your words, your thoughts. O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. These blessings I do ask. In Jesus' awesome and mighty name I pray. And I do thank you. Amen. You receive the hands of the Lord. The time, my brothers and sisters, that we share together, I want to talk to the subject of what do you do when you're going through the storm? What do you do when you go through the storm or the storms? What do you do? This one poses this question. Do you fall apart? Or do you keep it together? You don't even answer that one. What do you do when things come up in your life that are devastating? What do you do? I'm going to tell you what to do. And when you do it, it'll cause victory. But I got to tell you the bad stuff first. Before I tell you the good stuff. Is that all right? If you look at verse number 1 through 3, it describes Job, man of all. He was blameless. Blameless. This word blameless means he wasn't perfect, but he was perfect. Now let's go this route. Because you're going to see he has some flaws. Like you and I have some flaws. He was a blameless man, perfect, undefiled, upright. And then it says he's upright, he was pleasing to God. And one who feared or who reverenced God, who respected God. Yes. And the King James says he assured evil. The New King James says he shunned evil. What Job did was he got away from everything that was not of God. He backed up. He got away from everything that was not of God. He shunned it. He shunned it. And then he goes on to describe this. Job had 7 sons, 3 daughters. Then he goes on and talks about his possessions. He has 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses or donkeys. He had a very large household. A man, one of the greatest men of the East at that time. He had all this. And he served God. But I want to show y'all something. He did not allow what he had to cause him to lose sight on God. As we go on in this first chapter, verse 5, this is how I think awesome Job was. If you look at verse 5 in your Bibles, if you got it open on your device, it says, so it was when the days of feasting had run their course, that Job would sin and sanctify. He would consecrate them, his sons and his daughters. He would consecrate them. He would sanctify them. I'm going to show you why too in a minute. He would rise early in the morning. Something about early in the morning. Something about early in the morning. Something about early in the morning. He rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of according to all of them. So Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God. Watch this, not in their hearts. Can I hang my head here for just a minute? The Bible says in their hearts. Jesus said in the book of Matthew, he said, what defiles a man is not what's on the outside. What defiles a man is what's on the inside. He talks about these people as being vipers, poison snakes, all that. He said, just in case, my son just messed up, I'm going to offer a burnt offering as a consecration to God for my sons. I don't know what they done. I don't know what's in their hearts. But just in case their hearts were not right and cursed, I'm going to sanctify them. I'm going to prostrate my sons. Wow. Consecration. Now watch this. He went in church. You can go and consecrate your children at home.
That's right.
Can I just say right here again? Yeah. We parents need to consecrate our children. And offer them before a holy God. Because this world is messed up. This world is jacked up. And we need to consecrate our kids and give our kids back to the Lord. Okay, I'm going to mention, but I'm going to mention. Listen to me, church. Don't come up here and bring your child up here and say, I'm going to do all this and bring my child up in church and you don't bring to church. You done stood before God and the people of God and lied. That baby ain't been in church since you consecrated. You gonna bring him to Sunday school? I know it's tight, but it's right. How you gonna learn about God if they sit at home? Come on, somebody. It's tight, but it's right. I'm going old school. I was made to go to Sunday school. I was pushed by the pusher. Drug pushers? No. I got some spiritual pushers. We need some spiritual pushers to push our kids to church and to Sunday school. This world is jacked up. How do you learn about God if they don't come to church? They're all nice. I know it's tight, but it's right. He consecrated these boys. He consecrated his children before our holy and a righteous God. Your brother ain't here, but I'll use you. Use him too. Their mother, after they got consecrated, she made sure I ain't had to do nothing. I just was enforcing. Right after they enforced, because that girl couldn't do it. She'd get them boy, he's 6'5". Get up. Get up. Can I just demonstrate? Oh, yeah. Thank you. She had them glasses like this. Ray, get up. Now. She was laid back, but when she had to be, she could be forceful. Oh, yeah. That's it. Forget about that. And then when they get up, girlfriend will pull the covers up. Oh, you got to get up. We don't do that now. Okay, Johnny, go on and lay there. No, Johnny, get up. Come on. It's church time. It's gospel time. Get up. Get yourself up. I don't care how old you are. You in my house. Get up. When I left the house, I was 21 years old. I was 21 years old before I got married. I still had to get up. My mama was not playing. We need, that's it. We need more than that in the 21st century church. There was no excuse. You in my house, you gonna do what I say. Now you can't get out. That's what he said. That's what he told us. Can't do it, can't back, get out. Do the second. Amen. That's old school. Oh, that's it. That's what Bishop Ross said. Old stuff is good stuff. Modernize our key. Everybody messed up. Let me tell you something. She wasn't there. But I had girls for about 5 hours. Long two little girls who are active. They don't know about setting still. I had to be careful. Because these girls now they can talk. They can talk now. You got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful how you live.
That's right.
These girls are smart. They're real smart. I heard them laughing at some stuff they told me. The girls were telling me. I said, oh, girl. They're smart. And they will imitate you. My buddy just claimed to my leg. Raylan just claimed to me. Thank you, Paul. She would imitate me. And when she imitated, she had it down pat. I got to be careful when they come to my house. I ain't think I can worry about it. They come and live over anyway. Because I purpose in my mind, my heart. To live before the duty sisters. I got to even when they in my presence, I got to teach them God. Yeah, I'm the grandfather, but I can't leave it all up to him. I can't leave it all up to Nina. It's my job too as a grandparent to teach him. And they were leaving. One of them, they said, "You want to go?" One of them said, "No, I don't want to go." It was Riley, who really don't cling to me, but did I want to go home? Just plain as shocked, all of us said, "I don't want to go nowhere." No. They said, "You got to go be home." But I'm saying to say this because we have got to, grandparents as well as parents, got to nurture our children spiritually. Spiritually. And I told them, bring the girls by anytime. Anybody home with me anyway, bring them by the house. Oh, one day I'm going to let them just stay all night with me. That's right. I'm serious too. I got the room. Y'all just let me know a couple days in advance. Because I want to, as well as them, I want to instill God in them even more. It's a real world. It's a messed up world. And you can't have everybody in your friend. Amen? Let's go for 13. And we just had the dedication part. I can get that in there. Thank you, Jesus. 13 through 19 talks about catastrophe. Notice I told you he had 7,000 sheep. Then he had not only 7,000 sheep, but he had 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses. And all that was being taken away from him. The Bible says a messenger came, says, the she-asses were feeding, and the oxen were plowing. And Satan raided and took them away and killed the servants. Notice, why does he not kill all the servants? He leaves one. He leaves one to tell what happened. And as he spoke, another came and said that all the oxen and the sheep and all that, all of them are gone. But I won't escape. Kill the servant with the edge of a sword. I won't escape. And while he kept talking, stuff just kept happening. Back-to-back catastrophes happened. He lost everything. His sons, his daughters were eating in the elder brother's house, and a great wind smote the four corners of the house, and all his children were dead. 7 sons, 3 daughters, they were dead. Before I tell you how to get through this, Job had a pity party. This was in chapter 3. I'm gonna come back to chapter 1 in a minute. But I'm gonna go to chapter 3, verse 1. Job deplored or regretted the day he was born. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't you let what you go through cause you to think like that. Now I know human nature is gonna kick in. I don't care how much Holy Ghost we got, how long we've been in church, what our position is in the church or with God. Human nature is going to kick in.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
And he regretted the day that he was even born. Let me tell you something. Let me go further before I go to tell you how to get out of this. Be careful who you hook up with. Amen. He was married with Miss Job and had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And Miss Job just got tired of Job looking like he looked. Listen, it's not in the Bible, but just let me allow me to use my sanctified imagination. What she should have done was pray for Job. She should have interceded for Job while in being after this, but she thought about what? Just won't you just curse God and die? Yes. But Job, in who he is in God, he said, woman, you talk like a foolish woman. And what he was really doing, he said, I'm not going to give in, give up, nor am I going to give in. I still trust God. And he says it, when you look at chapter 13, verse 15, he says, though he slay me. Though he slay me. Yet will I trust him. Though I go through what I'm going through, yet I don't trust God. Yes, I regret the day I was born, but something on the inside. It's working now on the outside. I know what I said. I know how I felt. I know what I thought. But I bless God anyhow. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I'll trust in the Holy God. God blessed me with all I had, but I trust God. Yes, sir. Oh, bless your name. What do you do? What do you do in a storm that's back to back? What do you do in your storms? Well, guess what, y'all? Watch this. Chapter 1, verse 20 through 22. To do this, you got to get in your spirit. You can't go through emotions. Job did not go through emotions. Because Job lost everything. Everything. Verse 20 says, then after he lost everything he lost, the Bible says Job rose, tore his clothes, tore his robe, shaved his head, fell on the ground hideous, and worshiped. Here's what I want to ask y'all. Don't answer it, just think about it. When things come your way, what do you do? Do you go and worship? Because that's what Job did. The Bible says he worshiped. I'm going to tell you something personally. I really shouldn't tell y'all this, but I'm going to tell you something personally. Because I need to get something. And I just want to be transparent for a minute. I'm going to show you something in a minute. Let me read the rest of it. And he began to worship, and he said, naked I came from my mother's womb. Come on. And naked shall I return back. The Lord gave, and the Lord took away. Watch this, he goes to worship. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Go to verse number 22. The Bible says Job did not charge God foolishly. I had a friend, didn't mean no harm, I don't think. Didn't mean any harm. When sis passed, said go home and basically was saying get mad at God. And I really agree, you don't think too cool. I ain't lying, you don't think too cool. And I said, oh, okay, I got home. I got home.
You got home?
When I got home, lost my best friend. When I got home, that didn't come out of my mouth. Let me tell you
did come out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was thank you, Jesus, for 37 years of moving. I did not tell that. I'm not saying I'm always at the mega church. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying that. But what, because my relationship with God went around me to come out with stuff like that. Only thing came out of my mouth was thank you, Jesus. I cried, I wept, and I said thank you, Jesus, for 37 years. You gave me her for 37 years. Thank you, Jesus, for 37 years.